What's going on, everybody? This is Flobo, Saw It on Netflix, the show where we go into the archives of that Netflix library, check out some of the cool things happening on the platform. Thank you so much for checking out the show and supporting it. I mentioned it before. This one reaches the furthest across this great planet. And if you guys have any kind of suggestions of what shows that you check out, movies, documentaries, everything's open. Let me know. You can do so on that social media at Flobo Boys. I want to give a big shout out to the country of Ghana. You guys have put me back on your top charts. I respect the heck out of that. Now, it's the middle of December. As I'm recording this, just got back from a trip to New York to see the family. And even though it was not quite Christmas then, it was cool to be around mom and dad and doing things like eating and drinking and being merry together. On my way over there, I had this one, The Christmas Chronicles, part two, loaded up on my tablet to watch and experience. The reason why I'm saying that's twofold. One, we consume our movies in myriad and different ways, right? We have tablets, we have our phones, some you can watch things on your watches now. And also, it is kind of in that season. You see, The Christmas Chronicles Part 2 came out in 2020, and it was in my queue for an entire year. And even though I missed the Christmas season last year, it didn't feel quite right to watch it in January, February, or March, even though I could. So now it was a perfect time. The sequel to Christmas Chronicles Part 1, which was surprisingly great. Quick review on that one. Didn't think much of Part 1. Check out Part 1. Kurt Russell as Santa. I don't see anyone else as Santa. As a 90s kid, I think when we think of not say television, movie Santas, it's usually Tim Allen with the Santa Claus, but I wasn't a big fan of those movies. Tim Allen will always be Tim the Two-Man Tailor for me. So when he was Santa, I just felt kind of weird and wrong and off. But Kurt Russell is definitely someone that I can see as his version of St. Nick's. This one here is a little bit more of an outdoorsman, a little bit more woodsy, a little bit more rugged, which makes sense if you're living on the North Pole. And I don't want to get into spoilers, but Mrs. Claus gets a bigger role this time around in the Christmas Chronicles Part 2. IMDb gives it a 6 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 66%. So about the same, 6 out of 10, between that 60 and 70% range. And ultimately, I agree. As for why, I'll tell you in just a minute. Now, if you have not seen Part 1, check it out. I'm trying to get this show to be a little bit less spoilery because it started off as an after show, so I assume everyone has watched it, but everyone's telling me it's kind of like a recommendation kind of show, so I'm trying to keep spoilers down to a minimum. But you have to watch Part 1. You have to watch Part 1. You have to watch Part 1. So if you haven't seen it and you want to, pause it, come back to me, let me know. I'm not going anywhere. Cool. Goldie Hawn is Mrs. Claus, y'all. What? It was revealed in the end of Part 1 that Goldie Hawn, real life partner, I'm not sure if they're married, real life partner of Kurt Russell is Mrs. Claus. And this one is awesome because we get to see more about Mrs. Claus and how it's different. We all know cognitively that Mrs. Claus exists because we would never have a man being a bachelor making toys for kids by himself. But Mrs. Claus has a little bit more of a purpose in this world, and that's just okay. I love it, love it, love it. Definitely someone that you can establish that doesn't break the canon. She's not doing the work instead of St. Nick, but it's very, very important. She's instrumental to the Christmas lore, and you should never discount that. There's actually a running joke with the kids, and we'll have a new kid this time around, and Jack, who says, hey, look, if it's Santa's workshop and Mrs. Claus planned it and is the architect behind everything, it should be Mrs. Claus' workshop. It's a running joke, and Santa Claus is like, what do you mean? Branding. I thought it was kind of funny. But talking about Jack, Jack is a new character established in this one to really bring back down the whimsy. The original children are older, especially the older brother in the second one, so he gets kind of written off. Starts off at Cancun with the mom of Kate going out with Tyrese Gibson. Okay. All right, mama, get yours. I mean, Roman Pierce from Fast and Furious is your new boyfriend. Respect. And so we now have this Brady Bunch situation where Jack is I want to call him Tyrese's son as well. And so we have this blended family aspect. Mom's on pace to remarry, but it keeps the kid younger to really establish and drive home the magic of the Christmas Chronicles. This is not a movie you're going to watch with, even though it's fun for the whole family, and I recommend you watch with the whole family, it really isn't kind of a Christmas movie you're going to watch with teenagers. Like if you have of a Gilmore Girls situation. If you are cool with your parents as a teenager listening, or if you're a parent with young kids but you treat them as equals, this one may seem a bit too familial for you. It'll be a bit too sugar coated, no pun intended. So I would not recommend that. Put on Love Actually if you're looking for that vibe. But if you're looking for a nice family movie to put on while you're opening presents, this series has it all. But this one here, as even for more world building, gets to build more on the Santa's Workshop we mentioned, what the North Pole means, and the kind of Wakanda-like barrier that separates the North Pole with everything else. And more importantly, we go into more of the elves. The elves are not humans or not little people cast in elven roles, but they are CGI creature with elvish features, which I liked. And I'm a 90s kid, and I didn't know how to describe them to anyone else. But in my notes, I would say it's the Traveler's Tales logo, which is a very deep cut. But if you're into Traveler's Tales video games, much like how I was, like Sonic R when I was a kid, the logo looks like one of the elves here. And it's a rogue elf, which is the big bad, but not really. I mean, it's really mischievous. The elf just wanted to be loved and appreciated by Santa Claus, like us all, and he's doing bad things. So it's not like a gremlin situation. The scenes won't be so intense, but I would say younger kids may be taking it back a bit, where there's a scene where like the blue dust gets thrown off, and there's like this whole thing where they change personalities. That's, I swear to you, as far as spoiler I'll get. I'm saying there's one particular scene. If you see the blue dust coming and you want to skip that scene for younger viewers, you can go ahead about doing that. But I'm trying not to ruin the ending for you. All in all, for a lot of Christmas movies, especially now we're getting flooded with the romantic comedies being centered at Christmas, this one here brings back some of that old joy. Some of the things we wonder and lament about doesn't exist anymore with family entertainment, especially around Christmas time. Polar Express is one of my favorite movies. I don't see many movies like that. I do think that mix of wonder and believing, and things are better when you believe in yourself and believe in the holiday and the spirit. And if you want to, go and interpret this as a religious movie if you want, or a secular movie if you want, is very, very rare. This is why I like the Polar Express. This is one of my favorite movies. You can watch Polar Express as just a Christmas movie. You can watch it as a religious movie, i.e. The children are on a train being delivered to Father Christmas, aka God himself. Or you can say, hey, look, I'm just hanging out with the music and the vibes. Same with this, the Christmas Chronicles Part 2. You can watch it as Santa being this cool outdoorsman guy with his pelt, with his nice wife, and making toys for boys and girls. But you can say, hey, look, this Santa is literally defending the Star of Bethlehem. Like, let's be real. And I think movies with layers are ones you can watch over and over again. So basically, strictly on pure entertainment value, I would say the reviews of 6.0 was pretty accurate. But as someone who enjoys Kurt Russell's turn and someone who enjoys the charm of it all, I want to go more into 7 territory. I'm going to say it's 7 out of 10. Make sure you check it out. Just skim it if you just want to catch the vibe. The first one, the second one, you need the first one. You can't. It's not episodic in that way to really get an idea of the kind of person Santa is and a kind of giving and loving person that he is. It is unique. It is different, but definitely a time and a half. So that's been my review of the Christmas Chronicles Part 2. Check it out on Netflix. I'm giving it a 7. IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes are giving it somewhere in that 6 range, that 66% range, and that does it for me. Let me know what show you want me to check out on Flobo. Start on Netflix, and if I don't see you, happy holidays.